Welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Grace Over Grind podcast, another episode of the Grace Over Grind podcast. I am your host, Dr. Laci Robbins of Robbins Nest Consulting, a learning and leadership development firm located here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I'm so excited to connect with you all on today to keep our conversation going. Listen, can I be honest with you all? Lean in, because I'm sure I am not the only one who feels this way. Leadership can be and feel lonely. I'll never forget when I first took my very first leadership role, and I had someone share and tell me, listen, now that you're the leader, it's going to feel really lonely because there's not a lot of people that you can confide in, go to, because everyone is coming to you. And I really thought at the time, that can't possibly be true. But you know what? It was absolutely true. And what I've learned along the way since doing this work since 2017 is, especially for executive leaders and founders, it can feel and be extremely lonely. If you're working for a mid-sized company, if you are the founder of something amazing and great, the weight of decisions, the weight of expectations, what other people think of you, what other people are desiring and wanting from you, the unseen labor that happens in running a business, all of these things start to weigh on you. You literally feel like you're carrying around several bags trying to make it all happen, right? It can become and feel very isolating. And even if you find yourself surrounded by a ton of people, you could still feel like you're the only one in the room because you might be the only one who really knows or has experienced the thing that you're going through, right? You're the only one who's taking a closer look at the P&Ls. You're the only one who's trying to figure out how you can create the next big, amazing thing for that pitch. You're the only one who's dealing with maybe the one staff member who's not necessarily acting as you would hope they would. Well, that leads us to our final pillar. And in some ways, this might be the most important pillar when it comes to sustainable success. And that is building a resilient support system. Building a resilient support system. This is the fifth pillar in our 5 pillars of success. Now listen, if you missed pillars 1 through 4, go back, pause here, rewind the tape, go and grab those first 4 episodes because everyone builds on the last one. And you want to make sure that you can stay up to date with everything that's happening. Now, why do I say a system versus a circle? Well, it's not just about a circle, but you really want to have a system of individuals who you can surround yourself with, because system represents saving you stress, time, energy, and money. You want to have the right system of individuals around you because we know that these elements are pivotal. They are most important. And so you have your system of people that are there, one that lifts, one that sharpens, one that reminds you, but also protects you. You yourself can start to see yourself as more successful. So here's the big takeaway. If you don't listen to anything else, if you don't go back and rewind and listen to the episodes 1 through 4 all around, building the sustainable pillars of success, keep this in mind. You weren't meant to lead alone. I know it might be hard to hear, especially because we've been conditioned to think that you should be able to stand alone. You should be able to handle it all on your own. But that's not how we were designed. We were not designed to or meant to lead alone or even be alone. Listen. If you have followed me even for like 2 minutes on Instagram, you at Dr. Laci Robbins, if you're following me on LinkedIn, you've probably heard me say more than once, everyone needs an ally. This is one of the 4 people that everyone needs in their life. Every leader needs in their life. There are 4 different people, and an ally is one of them. If you heard me speak on the stage, you know I'm always talking about the 4 people that you need in your leadership system, and one is an ally. Now, I learned this lesson a long time ago. not in the classroom, but in the quiet moments of exhaustion. I learned the fact that you need an ally when I literally was burning out. I had in my mind that I can do all the things, I can keep going, I can make it happen. Can't keep doing all the things is what my ally shared with me. They literally said to me, if you think that you can keep going, if you think that you're going to continue to operate at this high level and think that you can sprint your way to the finish line every single time, you cannot. Not and maintain a spirit of excellence. Leadership is a marathon. It is not a sprint. And you have to have and make sure that you have the right people in your system. Here's what I realized. I'm not supposed to be trying to maintain and stay at this high level. I'm not supposed to be trying to push my way through every single instance. There's supposed to be an ebb and flow of instances and experiences that I'm supposed to have. And one of the most pivotal moments for me was when I took the time, and this is in my own personal leadership journey, okay? So let me pull back the curtain a little bit. But this was a pivotal moment for me when I literally had this idea that I'm supposed to be doing all the things, wearing all the hats, making all of this happen. And instead, I picked up the book, Who Not How. And I also picked up the book, Drop the Ball by Tiffany Dufu. If you haven't read Drop the Ball by Tiffany Dufu, somebody send this video to her because this is my shout out to her. She mastered in the messaging to us as leaders, especially women leaders, that you need to be able to drop the ball. You need to be able to understand that you can do more by doing less. This was revolutionary for me. My mind was literally like, what? How is that possible? This single question around who, not how, the single concept of dropping the ball, it shifted everything for me. It shifted my messaging. It shifted how I started to lead my teams. It shifted how I served my clients, what I shared with my clients, and it also shifted in how I decided to grow the legacy of the businesses that Bishop Robbins and I have been running since 2017, 2015, and 2019, and even 2025. It literally shifted how we are showing up because we wanted to make sure we are driven as leaders, but not driving people away. It's important to keep in mind that while we want to be resilient in how we show up, we have to keep in mind that we cannot simply do all of the things. When we try to do all the things and we try to make it all happen, we are really giving a disservice to ourselves. So, what does a resilient support system really look like? Well, it's supporting isn't just about people, and it's not just about, leadership is a marathon, but it's not just about like who's on the sideline cheering you on. It's really about figuring out, how can I be more strategic? How can I ensure that I have aligned partnerships, both inside and outside of your business? It's really about, how can I make sure in my own leadership journey that I'm strengthening my leadership every step of the way as well? These are the things that I have to keep in mind. So here's what's included when you decide to create your system. And remember, a system is saving you stress, time, energy, and money. So number one, you really want to think about, this is for my leaders, this is for my aspiring leaders who are listening, who are my professional partners? Who are my professional partners? A professional partner might be a coach. It might be a consultant, your operational leaders, your thought partners. Who's that person that you can call up and banter back and forth with about a new idea that you're trying to flesh out some ideas and things about a new concept? Who can you reach out to? Who is it that helps you to stay sharp and focused, even when it may not be in your lane? These are the people that you want to make sure that you continue to partner with. Remember, a coach is that guide on the side. The consultant is the person who is the expert. And the mentor is someone who literally says, be like me. Your mentor or that coach, your professional partner, this is the person who also will hold you accountable in the conversations that you're having. Number 2 are your personal anchors. Now you have to keep in mind that your personal anchors, these are the ones who know you when you take your clip-ins out, when the makeup comes off, or the lashes are removed. These are the ones who are going to love you in spite of, right? Your personal anchors, these are your friends, these are your families, your spouse, your boo. These are your faith-based mentors, your leaders, your faith-based leaders, your pastor. These are the ones who hold space for you just to be you, not just because you're doing the next big thing. So many times, these people who are our personal anchors, we also can take them for granted because they're always typically going to be there, right? And so if they're your personal anchor, sometimes these are also the ones that we don't always treat the best because they're so close to us. So they get the little quips when we are frustrated and we're calling out, and we may not show them as much love as we should, but you have to keep them around you because again, they're going to always hold space for you. Number 3 is going to be your peer community. These are your fellow leaders, the individuals who maybe you hit the golf course or the tennis court with. These are your fellow leaders who you can normalize the struggle with. Maybe they're sitting next to you on the struggle bus. These are the ones who you can exchange strategies. It's not about like whose strategy is better or who's going to potentially steal the strategy. It's really about how can we give shoulder to shoulder support to one another. This peer community, they're also the ones who are going to hold you accountable. So when you say, I'm going to do something that you've been saying for the last 3 years, and you say it again in present tense, they're the ones who say to you, so what makes this time differently? Because you've been telling me this for quite a while. Last but not least are going to be your internal advocates. These are the people who are your team members, the ones who you work with on a day-to-day basis. They are the ones that trust and uphold the values and the vision that you have set for your organization. These are the ones that even when you're not in the room, they can pick that vision up and run with it. It's so important that you have your internal advocates because remember, in addition to the ally, you need the advocate as one of the 4 people of the 4 that you need in your life. The advocate is speaking for you when you're not in the room. You have to be able to identify that advocate because they are also ones that can help communicate the vision where maybe it's falling on deaf ears of other individuals. So why is this important for mid-sized companies? Well, mid-sized companies are especially vulnerable to leadership burnout because there is a razor-thin line between the weeds and being in the weeds and steering the ship and being able as you're tending to your different tasks or goals or projects that you might be working on. The fact that there is such a razor-thin margin between the two, between the weeds, between steering the ship, you have to keep this in mind. So if you are making every decision, leading every meeting, solving every challenge, you're not just draining yourself, you're also delaying your own growth as a leader. And believe it or not, you're delaying the growth of the other individuals who are part of your team. We believe in Robbins Nest Consulting that every leader creates another leader. That's part of your job. That's part of your role to be able to replicate yourself. So a resilient support system is going to allow you to multiply your leadership capacity. That's where the replacing of yourself comes in. That's where creating another leader comes in. You also want to be able to accelerate your innovation. It can't happen by yourself. Remember, you can't coach the problem out of yourself, right? The same mind that created the problem cannot be the same mind that coaches the problem. This is the power of thought partnership. This is the power of the mastermind, people coming together. You also want to keep in mind, when you have a resilient support system, that you're preserving the emotional and strategic energy of key leaders who are around you. You can't do this if you're always working alone in isolation. So in short, your support system doesn't just sustain you. Your support system can actually help to scale you. And this is something that's vital and important. So here's my final thought. You can be called, capable, confident, and committed, and still need help. I know it's hard for us to be able to ask for help, or even if we ask for it, how do we receive it? But regardless as to what the case might be, remember, when you ask for help, that's not a weakness. That's actually a sign of leadership maturity, and that's a sign of a strong leader. It's okay to be able to ask for help, and it's okay that once you ask for it, to receive it. Mid-sized business leaders, if you've been carrying all of the things on your back, like multiple bags, right? And you're wondering, why is it that this feels so heavy? It's because it is. Because you've been carrying all of the things and doing all of the things. I want to invite you to reframe that question. Who can I partner with, or which organization can we partner with to help us to lift and move the work forward? Book your complimentary culture map, and we can assist your company in being able to answer those questions. Let's examine, where is your leadership struggling? Where is the support system thriving? Where are we leaking, and where can we leverage? All of these areas, we're here to partner with you to ensure that you are strengthened. Sustainable success isn't just about you. It isn't just about what you build, but it's about who you build with. This is what we have to keep in mind. The pathway to sustainable leadership doesn't also just come with these 5 pillars, but it becomes from the day-to-day work that you do with the individuals that are around you. But that work has to start within each and every time. Did you enjoy this particular episode? How about this series on sustainable success? Drop me a note down below and let me know. And be sure to share this particular episode with another leader that you know who can benefit from this information. In addition, like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another episode of the Grace Over Grind podcast. And as I always say, from process to practice, grab your stilettos and let's go. Thanks again for joining, and I'll see you soon.